After over 4 years, Bobby Lashley finally reactivates his Beast status mode. What in the world is Seth Rollins doing? And Dexter Loomis gets beat at his own game. And the return of a wrestling god. Monday Night Raw 10/17/22. That review is coming up. Oh, and tonight, Triple H Paul Levesque head-to-head with Tony Khan and AEW. We talk all about it right now. Sasha, hit my music.
I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'm a with life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night.
Sasha, cut it. Cut my music, Sasha. Thank you. Cut it. My amplified unit, top of the morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Salute. We got a lot of wrestling to talk about, man. It was good. Yesterday, BC returned to the channel, to the platform. You guys showed the utmost of love. We had some technical difficulties in that live stream, but I made sure within a couple hours later, you guys were hit with a recap video. No issues at all in that. So if you were kind of in and out, or the audio was in and out, I did leave a video later last night of kind of a recap. It was a whole new video. I left some bonus content in there, so you may want to give that a watch. But I did make sure that you guys got all of the topics that I wanted to talk about upon my return. And now, hours after that live stream and that video that I put out, the recap, Monday Night Raw hit the airwaves, and there's a lot to talk about. A lot of goods, a lot of positives that we can jump off from going into Crown Jewel and Survivor Series, but there's a lot of questionable booking that BC has. A lot of questions that need answers, and we're going to have to talk about it. Whether we like it or not, we got to talk about this, guys, because this is a big season coming up, man. Survivor Series. Triple H is bringing back that old school vibe and feel. Like, oh, I don't know, Survivor Series is going to seem important this year, right? And then we kind of shut down for Christmas. And when we come back, it's WrestleMania season. Royal Rumble heading into WrestleMania. So this is big, man. Survivor Series is huge. It always should have been for the last several years. It just seemed like just another B or even C rated pay-per-view. This is big, and everybody's booking should be top-notch. Survivor Series is like the dress rehearsal for WrestleMania season. If you don't have your ducks in a row for Survivor Series, what makes you think you're going to have them in store for January in Mania season? This is why this is important. This is why we ask the questions now, and hopefully WWE can give us the answers. And I'm going to describe exactly what I'm talking about from the jump, first of all, with Bobby Lashley. But then we got to talk about Bayley again. We got to talk about Seth Rollins. We have to talk about Matt Riddle and Elias. And we might even talk about Ezekiel. Why not? But there's a lot to talk about from Monday Night Raw 10/17/22. Big news on Crown Jewel that was made available. And a lot of questions were answered about NXT tonight. Tonight, guys. And I'll spend the rest of the couple minutes of the cold open talking about NXT versus AEW. That's official. It's happening tonight. Tony Khan versus Paul Levesque. Now, if you're one of those people like, it's not just enjoy wrestling, man. You know, those people, like the guy in the front row several weeks ago at Dynamite, and he's just holding up a sign, just enjoy wrestling. We are. We're not going to fucking lie to ourselves, bullshit, and act like this is not Paul Levesque versus Triple H. That's why they're bringing out their best shows, man. Mox versus Hangman for AEW, a championship fucking title match. Over on NXT, look what Triple H, Paul Levesque is doing. He's bringing in main roster stars left and right, bro. Raquel Rodriguez is wrestling tonight. Sonya Deville wrestling tonight. Rhea Ripley wrestling tonight. Who did D'Angelo pick? I believe that's a main roster star as well. That's going to be making the jump over to NXT tonight. It's going to be main roster heavy tonight on NXT. And that tells you, does Triple H have a lot of confidence in NXT? And on top of that, H will not even be there. H has the 19. We wish him all the best. He's in good spirits. He said he's fine. He's okay. That's where we're kind of at in the world right now. You just got to go out and live, man. There's nothing else we can do at this point. I said this in yesterday's stream. We all just have to be responsible humans. We should have always been doing that, right? You cover your fucking mouth when you sneeze. That's common sense. You wash your hands 87 times a day. That's common sense. When somebody's in front of you in a line, give them a few feet. Don't be right on their fucking ass. If that's the case, if you're the person who's got somebody right on their ass when you're putting in your credit card, give them a stern elbow right into the gut. They'll back off. But if you're just using common sense, it's the best thing we can do. If your immune system is kind of shot and the 19 will hit you harder, yes, that is unfortunate. You got to take extra protocol. I understand. All the best to you. And we should be doing everything that we can to help them. But it's time to go out and live, man. You can't do this for the rest of eternity. It's something that's highly contagious. You get it, and thankfully, the majority is actually, I was gonna say very minor symptoms. The truth of the matter is, most people don't even have big symptoms, so that's kind of scary as well, because then you can pass it off. And that's what I'm saying, man. It's one of those cold type deals. And that's what they said from the beginning. This is going to turn into a thing that you're not going to get rid of. It's going to be contagious. It's going to go around year after year after year, and you just kind of got to take it on the chin. So, not a doc. Don't claim to be one. It's time to go out and rock out. So Triple H is one of those dudes that he comes in contact with a lot of people. Triple H is it's business. And it was only a matter of time for him to get this. This isn't going to be the last time. Unfortunately, right? Triple H probably going to get this a million more fucking times. And he's got the heart issue. So I guess he would go in a different category. But he's feeling fine. That's the talk on the 19, right? We had to spend a minute on it because that's why he wasn't at Raw last night. That's why he's not going to be on NXT tonight. I doubt you're going to see him in the ring kicking anything off. I doubt you're going to see pictures of him backstage. He is at home with the 19. And it's just ironic that every time he goes up against Tony Khan, this dude winds up laid up in bed, right? Tony Khan beats the shit out of him with AEW on Wednesday nights, kicks him right over to Tuesday night, and then Triple H is he's got the heart issue and he's laid up. That was an ass whooping by Tony Khan. And then he finds out he's got to go one-on-one with Tony Khan again. His immune system's shot. He catches the 19 and he's laid up again. It's every time this guy goes up against Tony Khan, he gets fucking laid out. Maybe that's the kryptonite, right? Tony Khan is just the nemesis of Paul Levesque. But it's a big matchup nonetheless. We heard that H was on the phone nonstop, just like Vincent Kennedy McMahon always is. When he wasn't at the shows, he was always on the phone every other minute, making sure that everything went his way. We heard that Paul Levesque was the same way. He was on the phone nonstop to Road Dogg, who was running the show. Ed Koskey was also the right-hand man of Road Dogg. And there was a couple others as well. It was not Brucey Pritchard, guys. Bruce Pritchard was, I believe he's still on vacation. So this was mostly Road Dogg and Ed Koskey. But H was running this whole thing. This was an H production. It's whatever Vince McMahon allows him to do. That's right. People think Vince just went away. He's on the beach getting a tan right now. No, that's not how Vince operates. But I expect the same thing tonight with NXT. I think that this is obviously going to be H's blueprint all over it, and it's. I just don't think it's going to be enough to take out Tony's AEW. AEW has built just a firm base where even though they have to switch nights because of playoffs and stuff, and trust me, it's a big night for BC, man. My Yankees got rained out, right? We had bad weather, which kind of hit the live stream yesterday. The bad weather also wrecked my Yankees playoff game, man. So the Yankees have to earn their way into the ALCS again tonight. Actually today, 4 o'clock, leading into Dynamite versus NXT. So it's a Big night for BC, man. I got to watch my Yankees try, because we fucking suck these last 3 months. But we're going to try to win this division. So I understand that, sports are kicking Dynamite off of TV tomorrow night. But if you think for 1 second that tried and true fan base ain't going to show up tonight, I'm expecting, and mark this down, I'm expecting at the very minimum 750,000 viewers. I think they're going to hit over 800,000. They will be absolutely running to the bank, thinking they're lucky stars if they reach 900,000 viewers plus on a Tuesday night, on a different night. I mean, I'm sure Tony Khan will take that and run. Don't look back in case somebody tells you there was a mistake. So if they hit 900,000, Tony Khan's going to be fucking thrilled. I think 800 to 900,000 viewers is absolutely not just doable, but where they're going to end up. I don't believe they're going to hit 1 million on a Tuesday night. Not at all. Not against NXT. Not against some playoffs. You're going to get dinged up. I never use that as an excuse, but I absolutely have always said you're going to get dinged up. You're going to lose 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 viewers possibly if you're not putting out an immaculate show, and that's a lot to ask of somebody. So I think 8 to 9. If they hit 9, they're fucking thinking they're lucky stars. There's no way they're hitting 1 mil. And again, for NXT, I don't know. They've already been kind of fucking around 600 to 700,000 viewers tops. That's tops. So now you have AEW coming in. Are they going to bring in more viewers with competition? That's not likely. So does NXT even hit 600, 650,000? It's so interesting to see where this all leads, man. It's very interesting to see ratings-wise. So for those that go, ratings don't matter, just like the wrestling. Well, they do matter, because that's why the advertisers, that's why the promoters, that's the first thing they look at, is who's viewing what when, right? Viewing habit, everything depends on that. And if you're not bringing in numbers, guess what happens to your show, guys? You get booted off the network. And then people are wondering why a show got canceled. Well, the people that followed the ratings, we're not wondering. We knew all along. That's why. We can enjoy the wrestling and still love the business side of it, guys. I don't understand why we just have to watch the wrestling product and then just look at nothing. No numbers, earmuffs, earplugs. La, 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 la. He's talking numbers. Run. Come on, man. We can't do both. Are we supposed to lower our standards? BC has always done that, even before the internet was really fucking big. When the internet was really just started to come around and you could catch like fucking dirt sheets on the web. And BC was always about the numbers and just like always like looking at the behind the scenes shit. And that's, I guess it's no coincidence that I started a channel, right? That has thankfully found decent success. I've always been involved in that. It's always also funny when people, they get upset at channels like this for talking about the behind the scenes and talking about ratings, talking about numbers and metrics. And it's like, but you clicked and kept watching. Like why are you not watching WWE.com or WWE on YouTube? No, you're watching BC because this is much more interesting. It's educational. Hopefully. I'm also entertaining for you guys. But you're watching BC and not WWE because it is highly entertaining, but it's very knowledgeable and it's good information to have. So that's why I talk numbers. I just want to take a minute, and for newer subscribers, I've been off for 10 days. Maybe some people found the channel throughout that 10 days and you're still kind of feeling out what type of channel this is. This is just an amplified channel. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am BC Amplified. And we talk all things pro wrestling, from the biggest stories to just stories that pique my interest and I want to talk about. I have the most badass unit in all of pro wrestling on this platform, on this channel. We call them the Amplified Unit, the best fans, the smartest fans you're going to find in the community. So if you think you can hang, we'd love to have you. Go ahead and smash that subscription button and the notification. Show the love down below. Smash that up. I'd love to have you. If you can't hang, no problem. See yourself out. Hit the bricks. or BC can show you the fucking way out and hit the fucking bricks for you. A boot in the ass, straight through the bricks. We can do either which one. But we're going to talk ratings, so if people want to cry about it, there's 1,000 other channels you can go to. Go find what you're looking for. Salud. It's going to be huge tonight. Business-wise, Paul Levesque and Tony Khan know this. This is massive tonight. This is it's one night. They're booted from the playoffs. They're going to be head-to-head with NXT AEW is. And it's one night where they're both AEW is putting all these title matches up. The ROH Championship with Chris Jericho. Mox's Championship World title is defended. The Trios Championship. The Women's Interim Championship. They're all being defended. So AEW, Tony Khan is going let's have an all night of championships. It's basically Battle of the Belts. It's going to be a full night of championship matches for Tony Khan. Paul Levesque went the other way. He's bringing in a whole night of main roster talent, and he's going to try to offset the championship matches with that. It's going to be so interesting to see what both shows pull in, what they do, and the numbers that they pull. And BC will have a video tomorrow talking about both. Not a full-fledged review on both shows, but I will absolutely be talking about both shows in full, if that makes sense. So not a review of every fucking segment, every match, every promo, but we're absolutely going to talk about both shows as a whole, how they stacked up against one another, the good, the bad, and the ugly of all of it. We are going to discuss. So that's the cold open, guys. Did I get that done in about 15? 16? All right, not too bad. Now, so that's tonight's big fucking one-on-one, man. Paul Levesque versus Tony Khan. And again, Paul Levesque is laid up in bed with the 19. We wish him all the best. That dude, I tell you, every time he hears the name Tony Khan, he winds up laid out in bed. That didn't sound right, did it? Sash, did that sound all right? Well, whatever, man. Let's go on with the Raw review. Now, this is huge, man. This was a big start for Monday Night Raw. A hot start, what we call in the business, to the show, as Bobby Lashley is not only in the middle of the ring, but he's mid-promo calling out Brock Lesnar. Now, I want you to think about that, because that added level of care, it makes a world of difference, right? And what I mean by that is not only is Lashley already in the ring, okay, we've seen that before in pro wrestling, right? Guy's in the ring and he's waiting for the red light to go on the camera, and then, okay, we're live, now start talking, right? And he gets the cue from the camera guy. No, what made this seem so organic, so fresh, so just urgent, right? There was a sense of intrigue from the jump, because Bobby Lashley had already been talking, right? We went on the air and he's already in mid-sentence, mid-promo. So it's like this dude wasn't waiting to even go live. He just started talking. Now, I don't know if that was a cue botch from the camera guy. And what I mean by that, it's either the camera guy or his assistant. You can usually sometimes see him. He's camera side, but he's right at the apron, and he'll give a cue to go. So I don't know if that was a botch on him or they just planned it that way. Like, just start talking, and we're just going to go live while you're talking. But I just thought it was brilliant, man. I loved it. It shows a dude who literally is not waiting for anything, not waiting for the show to even start. He wants Brock Lesnar. So I love the fact that he was mid-sentence, mid-promo. He calls out Brock Lesnar, as aforementioned. Lesnar takes Lashley up on the offer. Brock Lesnar's the type of dude that's not going to sit around going, oh, should I go and fight? He's probably going to go and take you up on that deal, man. That's a good time, right? Like you going to the movies with your date and fucking with your significant other, going to the movies, maybe going for a nice dinner, right? Go to the fucking local carnival, play some fucking games, try to win a stuffed animal for her. That's a good time, right? For Brock Lesnar, it's getting into a fist fight. Just is. So Lesnar comes down. These two tanks collide, with Bobby spearing Lesnar through the barricade. Then he spears him over the commentary table. I think it was supposed to break. Because they got some good height. I think they thought with both of their size, these behemoths, they could crash through on their landing. But the commentary table didn't break, so they kind of went over. And they struggled to get over, but it was still a badass second spear. So then Lashley picks him up and he totally just slams Lesnar through the commentary table. I love Lesnar. Dude's big as fuck. The dude's got a mega contract. He does not have to go through the table. They could just end it like that. They win over. Brock tells Bobby, no, I'm not going through. Brock's like, put me through, bitch. Brock loves just getting fucked up. I just love that shit about Brock, man. Loves getting fucked up. So he told Bobby, just put me through, man. Let's make sure this thing breaks. And he slams Lesnar through the table. This, now you see what BC means about giving a shit about how you start a show. Giving a shit about the whole show. But how you start a show means everything, man. This, you can get what Jimmy Smith gave us for months, right? And I'm so glad he's no longer with WWE because he sucked at his job, right? Every single week. Welcome, everyone, to Monday Night Raw. I'm Jimmy Smith. That's Byron Saxton. That's Corey Graves. What a show we have for you tonight. That's how we started. No amplification in his voice. No excitement. It was like it was the last place that he wanted to be. Jimmy Smith absolutely sucked. So you remove him, right? And now we have Kevin Patrick. And I got to be honest, I know he's getting tooled on, probably on the interweb machine. A lot of people just want him out. I don't know if he's the answer, right? I'm not saying we're ever going to get a Jim Ross back, but I don't know if Kevin Patrick is the guy. But I tell you this, man, anybody underneath the sun, anybody walking on fucking top of soil is better than Jim Smith. So you can have Jim Smith just going, welcome everyone to Raw. I'm Jim, that's Byron, and that's Corey. Or you can get a hot start like this, bro. You can get this. Which would you prefer? Jim Smith? Welcome, everyone. Or would you prefer Brock and Bobby beating the fuck out of one another? And it makes sense. That was the best part, man. It was realistic. Brock cost Bobby his title last week, right? That's what helped Rollins get that U.S. championship. So this would be how you would react, right? In real life, he was the reason your fucking title reign ended. You lost your title. So the first thing you're going to get your hands on that motherfucker, you're going to start the show. You're going to go on before the show even starts because this isn't even about a show for you. This is just you now know he's in that fucking building. You're going to call him out. And that's what Bobby did. I mean, it was so well done because it was so realistic. And finally, after 4 years, more than, I believe Bobby Lashley returned to WWE in April of 2018, if I am correct. I'll go back and do my due diligence, but I believe he returned in April around WrestleMania of 2018. So you're talking over 4 years, and finally, we see Beast Mode reactivated for Bobby Lashley because this is how you book Bobby Lashley, because this is the best version of Bobby Lashley, because this is going to make people care about Bobby Lashley. I always said, this dude has so much to offer if you just book him correctly and let him loose. It just seemed like he was always on a leash. Unhook that shit. Unhinge it. Let this dude roam. You know, he's always been a beast if you just let him. You know, you give him a right mouthpiece as a heel, he was always going to be fine. MVP and him worked good. The booking just did him dirty. Even with championships, Lashley never seemed to be connecting. And I've always been big on Lashley, but even I would see Lashley come out and I would be like, oh man, kind of a boring 7 minutes coming up. That sucks. Because we shouldn't be saying that about Lashley. That was such a good start to Monday Night Raw. I can't give it more praise. Salute. Paul Levesque is at home on the phone, yelling at Road Dogg. No, he's gotta be in the ring mid-sentence. He's gotta be in there. Mid-sentence. Road Dogg's like, I gotcha. You didn't know? I gotcha. If you don't have a mid-sentence, you can suck it. I don't know what the I just think that's an interesting phone call, right? Road Dogg is in Gorilla. Paul Levesque yelling at him through the phone. Vince McMahon, you could hear Vince McMahon in the kitchen yelling at Paul Levesque, who's in the living room laid out on the couch. Vince is yelling at H. H is yelling at fucking Road Dogg. Lashley's getting a cue to go. I don't know, man. That's how I think of it. It's too funny. My assistant Sasha's even laughing. I got to laugh finally out of Sasha. It's been a while. All right, moving on. And by the way, that's official for Crown Jewel, guys, in a few weeks. Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, these two tanks are going to go at it. Now, my concern with that real quick before I move on is, didn't we just see the match? Right? We usually with these big boy matches, you're just going to see the power moves, right? You're going to see the spears through the barricade, the spear through a fucking table, spear in the fucking ring. I mean, did we just see half the match at least? Probably. But it's Crown Jewel. It's no harm, no foul. And I think those are all, if you think about it, those are all going to be kind of exhibition matches because the main event is an exhibition match too, but all eyes are going to be on that, and that's obviously Logan and Roman. So that could be a whole fucking, that's what Bobby and Brock is. It's an exhibition match. This came out of nowhere. Why the fuck is Brock, why would Brock care about Bobby Lashley and his mid-card title? You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's, I don't know. And then the OC is coming back to take on Judgment Day out of nowhere to help out their buddy AJ Styles. Let's talk about that real quick. The OC, Gallows, and Anderson actually defeated Alpha Academy last night. That was the first match of the night after the whole Lashley and Brock Lesnar, I was going to say brawl, but it was more of a Lashley beatdown on Brock. After that, the OC, Gallows, and Anderson defeated Alpha Academy. That's Gable and Tree Trunk. Yes, that's what they call him. Poor Otis is now called the Tree Trunk. And you thought Vince was totally gone? No. Damn it, wait for it, you son of a bitch, wait for it. He's the Tree Trunk. Anyway. Alpha Academy loses via the Magic Killer finisher in approximately 7 minutes was the match length. It was great seeing OC back, even greater to see the OC pick up W's now, right? They should have always been booked as a pretty dominant tag team. I'm not saying they got the most immaculate of talent, but they're an actual tag team. They got a good look. It's a good mixture of everything between the two. And just the machine never got behind them. So it's good to see them picking up. It's good to see them back and picking up W's. But I'd be bullshitting if I said I didn't feel so damn bad for Gable and Otis. Fuck that Tree Trunk shit. No, Otis. I feel bad for Gable and Otis. You know, they put a lot into this tag team, hoping that they were finally going to be booked correctly. And they just put them in a tag team just to look like fools, man. They're the Brooklyn Brawlers of tag team wrestling. You know, they're residential jobbers. And if they're not careful, they're going to end up being the mayor of Jobberville, which is currently held by, I think, still Rico shit. Much love to Ricochet. At least we want to, but the dude's booking is so weird. And then out of nowhere, he wins an IC championship. And it's the most weirdest of title reigns. Then he loses it over the Gunther. Then he's fucking not seen again. Or basically. I don't fucking know. They don't know what they're doing with guys like that. Ali's kind of the same way. They just insert him in weird positions where it looks like he's getting a push, and then all of a sudden he just loses the match. So he talks a big game, and then he fucking loses. Now, post-match, man, after OC defeated Tree Trunk, my ass, Otis and Gable, Alpha Academy, after that match, Judgment Day hits the top of the ramp and challenges AJ Styles and the OC to a match at Crown Jewel. And I love how Balor says, I created the club and I can end it, he says. I love that line, man. You know, he's saying that I was the patriarch of all this. I founded this Bullet Club shit, or I was the main link. I can end it. I love that shit. I really do, man. And that, you know, I do love the dynamic with Balor and Styles and Gallows and Anderson and their history, if you do recall NJPW, or if you just know about it. Not saying you had to follow it, but the dynamic is just so interesting. But it's still it's an exhibition for me, if you think about it, right? Gallows and Anderson just come back. Boom! Match set in a couple weeks. It's like, all right, here we go. You know, we're just going to get this 6-man tag. But it's still intriguing. You know, you got Balor, who did kick off that whole Bullet Club shit, and then you got his new faction, and this is his new home. But then you have old school Bullet Club members who are like, hold on, you're losing yourself, bro. And Balor's like, well, I gave you guys a chance to fucking join me. And now we have a butting of heads. They're at odds. Differences of opinions. And it's going to come to blows. So, different mindsets. It's intriguing. Even though it's a 6-man tag, I can't stand those. Usually there's no real story behind it. This one has a little bit, just not enough time to really tell it correctly. They're just basing it on if you know about their past. Thankfully, BC does. A lot of you guys do. But there's a shitload of people that don't give a fuck why this match is happening because they don't know the history. Anyway, that's that. A match was then made for later in the night, AJ Styles versus Dominic. There was a good little one-on-one between them, by the way, going back and forth. AJ wanted Dominic immediately. Dominic's like, I'm not even in my wrestling gear. But yeah, I'm going to mop the floor with you. Say in about an hour. He says, I'm going to fuck, if you're not careful with your mouth, you're going to wind up just like my dad, he says. I fucking love that. So it was a good back and forth there. Seth Rollins is out next for 3 minutes. I can't make this up, man. For about 3 minutes, he just tries to get the crowd to sing his song. And a few hundred did, to his credit. A few, but the thousands of others simply did not sing along. I mean, you can go back and watch. I mean, for the people that were going like this, you look behind them and around them, they were just like... So hundreds did, thousands chose not to sing this song. It was actually sad, but it was even worse because it makes no sense. I think for BC, that's what makes this even worse. Everything he's done is along the lines of heel, yet he interacts with the crowd as if he's a face. This doesn't make sense. It blurs the lines in a negative way. This isn't a Chris Jericho situation where everyone sings his song on his way down, but then he immediately can just fuck with the crowd, and you immediately remember that he's, what he is, what he's capable of, and what he's there for. With Rollins, it's like it's such a mixture. Even last night in a promo, he's like, for all of you that didn't believe in me, you can kiss my red ass, he says, because he's wearing this bright red ass fucking, hey, Kool-Aid type of an outfit. And he says, for those of you that always stuck by me, continue to sing my song, like a much love situation. For those of you that stayed with me, much love, and everyone, he tries to get everyone again to sing his song. A few hundreds do, thousands do not. It's so, like, what is he, man? Like, what are we doing with Rollins? It's so odd. It's not making me give a fuck about him anymore. And I like Rollins. But this whole thing has been so forced. Like, this new theme music, the second I heard it, I knew what he was doing. The goal was to just get everyone to sing like we used to do with Sami Zayn, like we used to do with Finn Balor, what they're doing with Chris Jericho. What we do with every fucking little melody is it's easy for a whole crowd to sing along. So that was the thing. It was manufactured to get people to sing along. And I think the goal was to try to be like the Chris Jericho of WWE, where you're a heel, but you're, the fans still fucking interact in a fun way. But for Rollins, it's not everyone's singing. I don't know if they just don't like the melody as much. I don't know if they're just confused by Seth Rollins like BC is. But this is weird, man. If they're going to sing, let it be natural. This fucking thing where nonstop he's trying to get everyone to sing along, man. I don't know, man. It's weird booking for Rollins. It's very weird. And it got even more strange at the end of the night in the main event. I'll get to that. But Ali ends up coming out in this end of the hour one segment. Ali comes out, cuts Rollins off in his promo, and he challenges Rollins for the championship because he did have something set up with Bobby Lashley, even though Lashley destroyed him. So Rollins is like, well, in case you haven't figured out, I'm not Bobby Lashley, so I'm going to go with no. So Rollins not only rejects Ali's request, but he drops him flat where he stood, just drops Ali. Ali ends up getting back on his feet, tries to take out Rollins, but just gets thrusted face first into the ring post outside, gets flipped inside out. Yeah, that was, come to think of it, that just didn't work. He probably should have just stayed down the first time. He goes out, he tries to take out Rollins, and Rollins is like, the fuck you doing? Like when you're at a fucking concert and the fucking mosquitoes around you. I'm trying to enjoy the fucking concert, you fucker. And he fucking thrusts Ali face first into the ring post. The dude gets flipped inside out like a tortellini. Incredible, man. And then Rollins walks off. It wouldn't be the last time you see Ali or Rollins. Again, we'll talk about that for the main event. But, that was the end of hour one. Actually, the official end of hour one was JBL's limousine riding into the arena. And then we went to commercial, man. We'll get to that coming up. And then I believe we started the Damage Control versus LeRae and Bianca Belair match, which thrusted us into hour number 2. So that's what we'll kick off now, man. Damage Control, Io Shirai, Sky, and Dakota Kai versus Candice LeRae. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. Such an odd match to book because none of them can afford a loss, right? LeRae just debuted a month ago and she's already 50-50 booked. She wins one week, like her debut, some shit. Then she loses the next week. She wins the next week, I believe, right? And then she loses here. I don't fucking know. Or did they? She's 50-50 booked. That's the point. We'll get to the finish. She's 50-50 booked. Another loss here, and Candice LeRae just she can't afford it right now. She's just so new, man. Casual fans that didn't really watch NXT or when she was on the Independents, they don't know who the fuck this is. They're trying to find a reason to care about her. Nobody's going to give a fuck if you're 50-50 booked. You're no better than the local fucking bagger at the grocery store. The barista down at the local coffee shop is more important than a 50-50 booked wrestler these days. So LeRae can't afford a loss. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, well, fucking, she's your champion. Of course Belair can't lose. And then on the flip, Control are champions as well. So you're just booking a bunch of champions and somebody's got to lose. I don't like that shit, man. And not only fucking that, but Damage Control are in desperate need of making people believe that they are a legit badass faction because WWE has done them no favors whatsoever. So Damage Control has to scratch and claw to try to get people to believe that they're a badass faction. I told you guys in yesterday's live stream and the recap video I put out afterwards, because of the audio issues and just technical difficulties, I told you in both videos, Bayley is 6 wins out of her last 16 matches since her return 3 months ago at SummerSlam. She's had 16 matches, and Bayley has only won 6 of them. That is a 37% winning percentage. 37%. And she's the leader of Damage Control, a group that was formed because they were supposedly going to take over the women's division of pro wrestling. That's 37% winning? That's what I mean. It took Sky and Kai 2 attempts to even get the titles off of Aaliyah, and Raquel Rodriguez. Bayley couldn't get the job done against Bianca even. And then what? Does she finally get it next week on Raw when they meet again? Because that's the advertised match. They're not going to wait for a pay-per-view or anything like that. Bayley and Bianca are taking on each other next week. So there's a title change. All of this Bianca Belair's title reign was just to lose it on a Monday Night Raw on Bayley's second attempt. I don't know. If they don't give it to Bayley, it looks like it is going to be a Charlie Flair because I'm still not hearing that WWE has debunked that idea. So we'll find out next week. But my point is, man, nobody in this match can afford a loss. LeRae tagging up with your Raw Women's Champion to take on your tag team champions. Who the fuck wins in this? Unless you have something perfect planned for the finish and a great catapult to the storyline into next week and beyond. And WWE didn't have any of that. So it comes down to now we play a game of who gets damaged the most if they take an L, right? That's the game that we have to now play. Who is going to get damaged the most should they take an L? Easy answer if you're BC. Kai and Sky. They cannot afford a loss under any justified means whatsoever. They cannot afford a loss. Kai and Sky, Damage Control, needs. That's right. Emphasis, caps on needs. Good booking. So, if Damage Control lost this match, BC was diving out a 10-story window right through a brick wall down below. Okay, maybe it wasn't to that extreme. Maybe it's not that serious. But BC was going to be mind-boggled if Kai and Sky lost this fucking match. I'd be befuddled by the buffoonery in their booking. Thankfully, the befuddledness was kept to a minimum as Damage Control defeated Belair and LeRae. Again, I don't like to see your champion Belair and somebody like LeRae take another L, but it couldn't be Damage Control under any means. Couldn't be. So Belair and LeRae get defeated. LeRae eating the pin. That was it. It was the end of the segment, guys. What is the story? There is none. It sucks. You guys know I'm right, man. Nothing happened after this. LeRae just gets pinned. And we go to the next segment, which I believe was backstage. Cora Jade picking her poison for Roxanne Perez. Now, this is what I tell you guys, man. Like, if you're going to book a match like this, at least have something intriguing at the finish, right? Post-match, something. That takes the focus off the fact that LeRae just got pinned. Right? There's a reasoning now behind it, right? Something big happened after it. Oh, damn, you gotta see what happens next week. You can't wait. Did you guys see what happened after Damage Control took the W? Nothing. Belair is trying to help up LeRae. LeRae's like, what just happened? This is crazy. Did Bayley get involved? Come on, man. Come on, dude. You gotta be better than that, man. And if you're okay with it, basically, it's okay, man. No harm, no foul. No. Much harm, much foul. Raise your standards, guys. As fans, it's okay to raise your standards. You know, that's what this channel is, man. This is a channel of can we do better. We just don't play Monday morning quarterback, right? We don't just watch everything and just think we could do better. Oh, man, they did that, but we can do fine. BC can book it better, damn it. No, we're calling out the most simplistic of things that need to be done. Right? It's not just what we want. If BC was just getting what I wanted, damn, the whole show would be fucking completely different. Many different people would probably be at the top. It'd be a whole different story. This isn't about what we want. This channel is based about facts, man. It's just about what is hurting individuals. The things they're doing right that need to be amplified, and the things that are hurting them that need to be fucking thrown to the wayside. The booking of the women is still not on track, and that's very, very odd because when Paul Levesque took over the main roster for WWE, you thought the women were going to be just immaculately booked. And then you see SummerSlam and Bayley and Io and Dakota all get together, and we're all marking the fuck out. I mean, this is huge. This is the Levesque era. Women's wrestling is finally going to the forefront, and it's been weird, man. Belair's last several months as champion has just been so odd. Just kind of in this six-man tag shit with Asuka and Alexa against Damage Control. And then it's just now she's in this thing with LeRae now. Bianca's been, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. LeRae is 50-50 booked for since she's debuted a month ago. Damage Control is still not being taken seriously by the majority. And that's a shame. I say this every fucking time. I'll say it a million more times. Io Shirai is my second favorite women's wrestler, right underneath Sasha Banks. Dakota Kai, I love that gal. I'm so high on her because she is so badass. And Bayley's been putting on the best work of her career ever since she's turned heel. So it's a shame that Damage Control, we have to talk about them in this way, even with tag titles. Even if Bayley somehow wins the title next week, I don't understand their booking. So LeRae eats the pin, and then we just ended the segment. And BC still, just like yesterday in the live stream, before Monday Night Raw, and here we are after Monday Night Raw the next morning, and I still have the same concerns for Damage Control. The only damage that needs to be controlled, ironically, is for Damage Control. Moving on. Backstage, as I aforementioned, Cora Jade picked her poison for Roxanne Perez. I'll always know her as Roxy, as many of you, ROH days. And she picks, and NXT NXT. No, NXT, she immediately got moved to Roxanne. Man, Roxy is such a badass name, too. Fuck these name changes. Anyway, Cora Jade picked Rhea Ripley to take on Roxanne Perez, Roxy, tonight on NXT television. Man, that's going to be a badass match. I don't see how WWE is going to allow Rhea Ripley to drop a match to Roxanne. But I don't see how they can allow Roxanne to just lose this match simplistically. So you better have something fucking planned here. I do not want to see Perez. I do not want to see Roxy dropping a fucking match just because it's Rhea Ripley. And Cora Jade looked like she belonged last night, by the way. In that backstage promo, when she walked up to Ripley, it was almost like she was on WWE main roster television for the last 5 years. I mean, there's never going to be someone like an AJ Lee. But Cora Jade is going to be in that category. I always put Cora Jade in that kind of AJ Lee, maybe even Paige-ish category. And it's ironic that she always looked up to AJ Lee like that's her role model and shit. So I kind of shouldn't be too shocked. But she's even got that look, that vibe to her. But everything about Cora Jade was just on point last night. And from what we're hearing, just like Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade is going to be doing a lot more on that main roster in the near future. Then JBL's music hits, and the wrestling god, sure enough, hits the ring. BC's got to be honest as always with you guys, man. It was damn good to hear that theme music with the fucking cow. Moo! You guys ever hear the music? Maybe you didn't even fucking think about it, but you go back, you listen to that music, and you hear the fucking cows in the back. Ooh, too much coffee. Sasha's rolled her eyes down like, uh-oh, BC's lost it. Did I ever have it? It was good to hear the theme music. It was really good to see JBL. I mean, he's just, when you think about heels in this business, you guys may not think or put JBL at the top of the list, and maybe not the top, but JBL absolutely embodied what it meant to be a heel in pro wrestling. He was the type of dude that would get batteries thrown at him on his way to the rental car after the show, because he would piss off an audience so much and so badly, so vividly. You actually had like vitriol for him. You actually had just disgust, greatly frustrated just because he verbally fucking assaulted you. That was JBL. He proceeds to destroy Oklahoma City. Like, I mean, he verbally annihilates them, man. Oklahoma City just got fucking derailed by the JBL Express. And that's what I mean. Man, I miss old school heels. We were just talking about Rollins, right? I think that's why BC misses people like JBL so much. We were literally just talking about Rollins, and like he's supposed to be one of the big heels in the company, but yet, I mean, he's conducting sing-alongs, multiple times on his way out on the entrance. Then during his promos, he's conducting sing-alongs. He's telling the crowd, hey, for those that didn't believe in me, go screw off. But for those that believed in me, we're in this together. Well, what the fuck are you going to do? You're not doing Matt Riddle any favors when he comes out now, because now you're telling half the audience, I'm with you, man. You could cheer for me. At least 50-50 cheer for me, right? Let me get a 50-50 response. Well, that's going to cut into the face that you're about to take on, like a Matt Riddle, for instance. That's going to hurt his reaction, and you're not helping anybody at that point. It's weird what they did with Rollins, and he's not the only one. So to see somebody like JBL come out and just instantly just start derailing verbally the entire audience to the point where they're out of their seats screaming at the ring, screaming in disgust with JBL, because that's what happened last night. Look at the fucking shots in the crowd, man. People that were sitting the whole night, right? They didn't even get up once. Once JBL started fucking blasting them, they were up screaming. If they had batteries, they'd throw them at the dome piece of JBL. I love it. That's a heel in pro wrestling. So JBL then introduces his newest acquisition to Monday Night Raw, Baron Corbin. He anoints Corbin the future wrestling god. I love JBL. I do. For all the aforementioned reasons. But that's a bit too far, brah. I gotta be honest. I know he's big into rugby. JBL is huge into rugby. But maybe he took a cup of too many shots to the dome piece over the years. Because Baron Corbin, this is no... I mean, I hope the guy gets booked correctly. I hope we really go full throttle and be intrigued with his booking. I hope we give a shit about Baron Corbin. I hope the guy goes on to get fucking 10-star Melty Boy bullshit ranking stars. I hope the best for him. I don't know if Baron Corbin, in fact, I'm being fucking nice and generous here, so let me take that back and just be the full throttle, honest as fuck, amplified BC that you all have come to love and know. I'm just going to be full throttle, amplified, and honest. The guy will never be a wrestling god. So it was cute that JBL said that. That is never going to happen. Again, I want the best for Baron Corbin. But just a little bit off base there, man. It was like fucking, what was it, Major League, the movie? Is that where the pitcher, it's a baseball where he's throwing the pitch, and instead of fucking throwing the ball around the plate, he like throws it in the fucking the 10th row or fucking a mile behind the batter. And the broadcaster goes, just a bit outside. Just a bit outside on that remark, bro. Anyway, I had to spend a minute on that. Because calling Baron Corbin a wrestling god, literally, I was in mid-sip of a coffee at the time, and I almost spit it all out. True story. I mean, there's shit that you obviously have to pump up. I mean, this is going to be a new manager type of you know, in his corner type of a guy, right? That's what JBL is going to be for Baron Corbin. So you're going to pump him up. You're going to say outrageous shit, right? Nothing we haven't heard in the past with the Bobby the Brain Heenans, the Harvey Whipplemans, the Sensational Sherrys, the Captain Lou Albanos, the Jimmy Harts. I mean, of course we're going to hear that shit, but whoa, when you make such an outrageous statement, you're going to make BC spit out his fucking coffee. The future wrestling god. And he points to Baron Corbin. That's funny. Anyway... this leads us to Corbin versus Ziggler. JBL is on commentary. It doesn't take long for Kevin Patrick to upset JBL, and Layfield calls Patrick a shamrock. Several times he calls him a fucking shamrock. Now, I find that funny, right? I'm half Italian. I'm half Irish. So I can get a good laugh at that, man. Calling my fellow peep a fucking shamrock. If that's not JBL just being uncensored and just saying what's on his mind, I love it, man. Over the years, he has taken so much heat. And that's why eventually Vince had to take him off of TV because the whole cancel culture shit was coming for his ass eventually. I mean, this dude just says fun, obnoxious shit. And we live in a world now where everybody gets offended. Oh, why did he say that? Why did he say that? I'm about to be in tears. I'm going to social media. I'm going to complain. Right? And JBL was already starting to feel that heat. So him and Vince just said, you know what? That's it. But him on broadcast, I used to fucking love that shit. It was a back and forth matchup between Ziggler and Corbin. It was a decent match. I just didn't care about it. Like, why am I watching Baron Corbin on fucking Monday night? It's like past 10 o'clock at this point, or around 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. It's late. I had a long fucking day. I had to shoot out 2 videos because the live stream had some issues, so I had to put out another one. I had other business to take care of. I had literally just flown in that morning. I have to go back out too, by the way, several more times this week alone. Hopefully you guys won't even notice, man. I should be back to make vids throughout the week, but there's a lot more things that I have to take care of. October is not done by a long shot for BC, not by a landslide. So it was just a long day, and here it is. It's around 10 o'clock, man. Long day. I still have a long week, long month ahead. And Baron Corbin is on my fucking TV, taking on Ziggler, who should be relevant. I fucking love Ziggler. He should be a top star in WWE and all of pro wrestling. But his booking has been fucking botched 97 fucking different ways. I mean, he comes back a couple months ago with this whole Austin Theory shit, and it looks like they're finally going to utilize Dolph Ziggler correctly. Within 2 weeks, the guy is like another bum on the roster. I don't understand what they're not seeing in Dolph Ziggler. But because of that type of booking, I got him, I got Corbin, and I don't give a fuck. What was most interesting to BC at that point was JBL on commentary. No bullshit. I just didn't care about this match. Corbin pins Ziggler via end of days. The lack of direction continues for Ziggler, and I guess we're going to try yet again with a new version of Baron Corbin. The wrestling god. This is going to be the best attempt because he's linked up with JBL. But this is concerning because this is like the 5th different version of Baron Corbin. Whether it was the old school end of days lone wolf character, whether it was broke Baron, whether it was a happy Baron, whether it's a wrestling god Baron. I'm probably missing a Baron. This is like 4 or 5 different versions. The guy's only been on the roster within 5 years. This is telling you, just like Charlie Flair, who doesn't get different versions, she just fucking gets 27 different types of pushes. None of them have ever worked. Charlie Flair to this day does not connect with the majority of the audience. This is concerning for Baron. No version seems to connect. Broke Baron when he used to wear the fucking untucked white shirt that looked like it's been in his suitcase for 2 months, and it's got the mustard stain. It's buttoned incorrectly. Guy looks like he hasn't slept in 6 weeks. That Baron was the best version because it connected at least. Even BC loves seeing that version. But they gave up on that pretty quickly, and they went over to Happy Corbin, which totally fucking derailed any momentum that broke Baron gave him. So this is concerning that just nothing seems to work. If this doesn't work with JBL, Baron Corbin has to have a long conversation with Paul Levesque. Just go somewhere, get a palm tree behind you, a fucking nice pool beside you, sit in a lounge chair, get a fucking margarita or two, get a martini, I don't care what the shit, spend hours thinking, what can we do, man? Because Baron Corbin is just not connecting. You guys know I'm correct here, man. I don't know how many useless, nonsensical, rather boring Corbin matches we can continue to witness. And then what, man? Backstage. Was that to end hour number 2? Yeah, I think to end hour number 2, we went backstage where Miz is faking a fall to avoid Dexter Loomis. I thought that was well done, man. A little bit of story. Never hurt anybody. We need more stories being told backstage throughout the show. So it may seem minuscule to a lot of you guys, but there was an original interview going on, and then all of a sudden we hear Miz screaming behind the actual interview. Miz claims that he slipped on water. Like, where's the janitor? He never put up a caution sign. A wet floor. So then we go backstage a segment or 2 later, and he's in the trainer's office. He's holding his knee. He's claiming he cannot take on Dexter Loomis later in the night. So Miz actually, and finally, I'll just go through it now, man, because it was right after AJ Styles versus Dominic. So I'll just go over that now to keep it together. In the 3rd hour, Miz actually and finally gets the best of Dexter Loomis. Because in one of the backstage segments when he was on the trainer's table holding his knee, Johnny Gargano totally fucked with him. He goes, "Oh no, it's Dexter Loomis." Miz jumps up off the fucking trainer's table, and Byron Saxton, who was interviewing him, goes, "It's a miracle. You can take on Dexter now." And Johnny Gargano goes, "Oops, it was just Byron, not Dexter. Common mistake." And Johnny walks off. Miz is pissed off because his cover is blown, and now he's got to take on Dexter. So later, when it was time for Miz and Dexter, Miz actually, he got one up on Dexter, man. He took Dexter Loomis out via steel chair in the aisleway. So he played the mind games with Loomis, man. He tried to get out of it, and when it wasn't able to work, he thought, okay, I still have to get one up on Dexter Loomis. I'm not going to actually go into the ring and go eye to eye with this guy. No way. Not with that freak show. He's going to fucking let Loomis come down. He's going to take him out in the aisleway. I thought that was well done because it's playing mind games with the king of mind games, which is Dexter Loomis. Well, that would be Bray Wyatt, but Dexter Loomis is up there. And Miz is like, no, now I know what I got to do. I'm going to one-up you. And in the mind games department, you're not going to defeat me. If I take you away on that, I can beat you in the ring in a match. I like this. Miz kind of beat him at his own game. 2 different ways. Dexter Loomis was laid the fuck out, and we end the segment. Now, to kick off that hour number 3 was AJ Styles versus Dominic. Dominic pinned Styles via the ultra-devastating, awe-inspiring Fruit Roll-Up. The Fruit Roll-Up has been reeling? It's been reeling or rearing, right, Sasha? It's been rearing its ugly head lately. It's coming back, man. Last week with the Candice LeRae, Candice and Bayley match. And here we are, another roll-ups are just, they're starting to come back, man. That was a Vince McMahon thing. I was glad to see that go away with the 24/7 title for a minute. But now we're starting to see the 24/7 title come back at live events. We're starting to see more and more roll-ups on TV. GR9 Gaming, you might have to fucking get back to work, double duty on the statistics. I know you're still following them, but for a while there, it seemed like, okay, it's starting to get much better. And then all of a sudden, it's like, here they come again, bro. Hopefully that just drops off, man. AJ Styles should never be, I know, but BC, outside interference. BC, there was reasons. No, the lasting image is Styles rolled up. That's AJ, one of the best wrestlers in the world, got rolled up by Dom Mysterio. Not buying it. And I don't know how that's gonna, and that was the end of the segment, by the way. So I don't know how that got you guys any more excited to see Judgment Day versus the OC, you know? I said earlier, I'm intrigued with it because I do know their past. Cool. There's a lot of casuals and a lot of people that just don't know the past and they want a reason. Well, just like us that do know the past, we still want to see a good story unfolding over the next several weeks to get us to Crown Jewel. That's not a story. Dominic rolled up Styles. Wow, now Styles has to get revenge. We can do better than that. That's all I'm saying. We can do better and captivate people, right? We can intrigue people, and we're lying if we say we're intrigued by that. Elias returns to WWE next. It could not have been in a more pointless segment than what they had him in. I don't know if because Triple H has the 19 and he wasn't there in the arena, so I don't know if Vincent Kennedy McMahon locked Road Dogg in the bathroom and snuck into Gorilla. Damn it, I'm in control for the next 5 minutes. I don't know, but they had Matt Riddle come out and play the fucking bongos as Elias played a keyboard like he's Elton fucking John. So just think about that, guys. Elias is playing a keyboard. Riddle's out there playing his bongos. I think the funniest part was just Riddle looked at Elias and he goes, "You wanna hit my bong?" Because they're bongos. Is that how you put up bonjos or bong? It is bongos, right? Yeah, because want to hit my bong, and it's just his bongos. So that got a little bit of a fucking laugh. Fucking, if you're middle school. Okay, well. Sasha laughed too, actually. You didn't like that line too. All right, whatever. I guess it's fine. Whatever, man. You want to hit my bong. Okay, so that's it. I'm like, what are we doing? He's on a keyboard. What are you fucking Elton John? I'm expecting him to fucking bust out. Can you feel the love tonight? What are we doing, man? The circle of life. Keyboard. The guitar's gone. Now he's fucking on the keyboard. You got Bongo McGee over there. He ditches the scooter for his bongos. And I'm like, what are we doing? Uh-oh, this is old school booking for Elias. This is not good. And that was it. Come to think of it, man, Rollins comes out for his match against Riddle, and we just went to commercial, guys. I can't even make that up, right? And you say, well, basically, it's setting up Elias later. He gets involved in the match. Okay, what the fuck? What? That's all of these months. That's how you brought back Elias. And by the way, he did get involved in the match afterwards. Wait till you hear what the hell happened to Elias afterwards, if you think it was any better. So up next was actually the main event. It was Rollins and Riddle, the U.S. title match. I believe the title was on the line, correct? Yeah, because the little hashtag was US title. So this was a title match. Never did I think Rollins was losing that title, nor should he be. Elias would cause Riddle to lose after Rollins delivers a stomp, okay? So Elias gets involved a little bit from what I remember. But the stomp is what ended Riddle. Okay, so post-match, Rollins stomps Elias too. Elias gets to go back into the ring, and he just gets stomped for his efforts. He should have just stayed the fuck out. Go up to section 302 and get yourself some popcorn and a nice fucking long hot dog. But don't go into the ring and look like a fool any more than playing your keyboard with Bongos McGee. And he gets in the ring and he just gets fucking stomped and knocked out. Ali then hits the ring, fast as fuck. Ali hits the ring like Braun Strowman trying to find his lost brownie from his lunchbox. Where's my brownie? And he's fucking wrecking the locker room, taking out the ring, flipping it upside down. He's gonna find his brownie. Don't go into Braun Strowman's lunchbox. All jokes. Much love to Braun Strowman, man. Much love to Braun. I hope his booking is immaculate. I want to see good things from Braun this time, man. It's either, Braun Strowman is a guy who Vince McMahon would give an inch and then take him back a mile. Right when you felt like Braun Strowman was becoming something massive, Vince McMahon would wreck his booking. Just take the carpet right underneath from his feet. Vince McMahon would rip that carpet. Hopefully Paul Levesque does something special with him. It's time now, man. Sink or swim. I think Braun Strowman has what it takes. If the booking would just get behind them. No more choo-choo train shit. Let's get fucking real here. Braun Strowman's a beast. It's not that hard. It took over 4 years to get a Bobby Lashley segment that started the show last night. Let's not do that with Braun anymore. How the fuck did I get on the subject with Braun, Sasha? Oh yes, Ali. Thank you. Ali. So Ali hits the ring after fucking Rollins has taken out Riddle. Rollins has taken out Elias, which Elias just took out or cost Riddle. So why the fuck would Elias... Right? Elias did cost Riddle, right? He didn't try to take Rollins out, did he? See, now I'm even fucking confused. I don't fucking know. The bottom line is he got taken out. And then Ali comes out to take out Rollins. But Rollins, he chases him off because Rollins is able to go through the crowd. Maybe he's heading up to section 302 to get the fucking popcorn and the long-ass hot dog. A little extra mustard and a little bit of ketchup. But he doesn't want anything to do with Ali. And Ali ends the fucking show. Right? Ali chases Rollins off, and that's how we ended the fucking show? He said, well, BC, you said you wanted something special for Ali, man. Well, this is I didn't say he ends the show, bro. I want a cliffhanger to end the show with people I give a fuck about. You gotta book people correctly. Give them the steam. Give them the momentum. Get them to a point where they can end the show and then kick it into high gear. You don't take a guy who's been doing nothing but losing, a guy who's been literally nearly the mayor of Jobberville, and then he ends the fucking show. There's no intrigue there. Nobody ended that going, wow, Ali's a fucking superstar again. Did you guys see what just happened? Ali's a main eventer. No, Ali's going to have a match with Rollins. Rollins is going to beat Ali, and Ali's going to be no better off than where he was. This is what Ali's been doing since he's been not granted his release. Talks a big game. It looks like they're going to give him a push, and then he just loses, and then he has to fucking restart some other bullshit backstage with somebody. Talks a big game. We get a fucking match. Then he loses. Then he goes back. And you're going to see the same thing because he's not beating Rollins for the title. I would hope Rollins' title reign wouldn't be 1 fucking month. It's odd. It's odd, man. You book somebody to be such a jobber, and then all of a sudden, it's like they did with Ricochet. That's why we call him Rico Shit, because his booking is so pathetic. He's been loses nonstop. He's so irrelevant. He's beyond irrelevant. It's nearly pathetic. And out of the blue, snap of a finger, he wins the IC championship. Holds it for a month and drops it back into irrelevancy. Nobody, who the fuck cares about Ricochet today? Nobody. I know. Beastly, I do. Well, that's great, right? Maybe you're a fan of Ricochet. That's great. Nobody gives a fuck about him. They didn't give you a reason to give a fuck about him. That's how we ended the show. Are we excited for Elias versus Riddle or Elias versus Rollins for the 1,000th time? Ali versus Rollins could be it should be a good match, but aside from cool moves, do I care? Will I care? Hopefully, right? We hold hope. that they'll make us care about, like an Ali and Rollins match, but I mean, I think it's just something they're just setting up for Ali for Crown Jewel. I really do. Why would Ali have a championship match, right? I think they're just setting something up for Crown Jewel for Ali. Take the fucking L, and then Ali's back eating triple-layered moose cake at catering. All in all, some fun parts of Monday Night Raw. Some good things that we can really kickstart into Survivor Series season. And jump-off points, right? And speaking of jump-off, that start of the show was one of the best starts to a Monday Night Raw, and it was very simplistic. It wasn't a backstage. It wasn't a parking lot. It wasn't at a local bar. It wasn't down by the river. Right there in the ring, Lashley just calling out, mid-promo as we go live, he's calling out Lesnar, and it's just two beasts, two tanks just smashing together. It's simplistic, you know, so there was good. There's a lot of just the booking for some of these people is just so questionable. And you got to believe, I mean, are they getting overwhelmed? Are they spending so much time on the better parts that we are seeing and not paying enough attention to the shit that needs attention as well? Hopefully that makes sense, right? So their attention's over here, and they're like, all right, if we do these things correct, we should have a good show. But then over here, there's 100 things that are off the rails, and they're not paying attention to them. That's what's starting to happen with booking. That's my biggest concern, is that you have to find a way, and that's why it takes a village sometimes. You know, it's not just about Paul Levesque. It takes a village. But you have to find a way where everybody can be booked correctly. Even in defeat, somebody is not damaged. Right? Even in defeat. And it starts with the matches you're putting together. Like, why is your women's champion tagging up with a girl who just debuted last month, like LeRae and Belair, and they're taking on your tag team champions? I mean, who can afford an L there? And unless you have something immaculately planned afterwards, nobody wins. Nobody's going to be talking about that match in a positive way the next day, and we're not. More of us are mind-boggled. Nobody's more excited to see Belair and Bayley next week because of that tag match. Nobody is more excited to see Candice LeRae after she just lost that. And I don't know what it did for Io and Dakota other than we saw them wrestle. And I love them gals. I love seeing them in the ring. But make me care about what they're doing and what it's leading to. I'll keep it at that. My name is BC Amplified. This has been your Monday Night Raw 10/17/22 review and our cold open talking about the big head-to-head matchup between AEW and NXT. Triple H claims that NXT is what college football is to the NFL. He claims they're just developmental, but Paul Levesque is bringing some main roster help to try to boost their ratings against Tony Khan. If it's developmental, if it's just college football, I don't remember NFL stars going back to play college football. I've never seen that happen. A lot of main roster stars going back to try to help this show compete against AEW. And Tony Khan is unloading as well with nothing but a whole night of championship matches. Who wins? BC joins you tomorrow, and we talk all about this battle tonight. NXT AEW. Till next time, Top Guy, and I'm fucking out. There's just one more thing to do. Ashley Steggles, you asked for it yesterday, man. I'm going to deliver it right now. Sasha, Ashley called you Mama Bear, I believe. Sasha's like, who the fuck is Mama Bear? That was Ashley Steggles. That wasn't BC. Sasha, hit my motherfucking music. BC, and I'm out.
Yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive by sight, always have a vision. I don't buy at night. I be in my feelings, I'ma be fine. Need time and I'll still be with it. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they want